Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to the Amateur Footballer Unhinged video podcast. Hey, hope everyone is well. Happy Sunday. Hope everyone. Today, it was about 23, 24 degrees outside, wasn't it? It was actually really warm.
It was a lovely.
Did you manage to see the day? It's going to be 27 in London on Wednesday. 27.
Yeah, 27. That's 27.
I don't think Sabrine's got out of bed.
Oh, Barry, but no.
Sabrina usually thinks it's Monday when it's Wednesday, for God's sake. I don't think he got out. I don't think he got out, Laura. I don't think he got out.
No, I mean, I was out yesterday evening, and I did enjoy myself, and I know Barry was slightly upset that I didn't come onto a stream, but honestly, it would have been a mess.
It's no point, Laura, isn't it? Yeah, you should have done it. No, dear. What he meant was he's passed out, couldn't even turn his computer on. So, yeah, that.
Oh, dear. Oh, gosh. But, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. This is the Amateur Football Unhinged with myself, Tabrice, one of the best grassroots players around. See, I said one of the best. I'm not the best. I'm one of the best now. I'm kind of humbling myself.
Love it.
So again, thank you to everyone that's kind of tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe. And before we begin, I'm gonna let the panelists introduce themselves, and let's start with Mark.
Okay. Hi guys. So my name is Mark Wright. I'm a young coach. I coach based in East London. The grassroots club that I coach at is called Neural Pathway FC. Last season we was called Just Ball FC, but this season we are called Neural Pathway FC. I train kids like normal grassroots players into young academy boys, into sometimes first team players. So across the whole football spectrum. So yeah, that's me, Coach Mark, young boy, just trying to learn and develop players.
Great stuff. And we're going to go on to Laura.
Hiya. So I have become a bit of a grassroots football fan through lockdown and finding a love of football, really loving it that when it came back, and just realised actually I quite enjoy this. So and I use social media a lot, and it's brought a lot of opportunities my way. So and I'm meeting lots of people like Tabrice, and opportunities and stuff. So I'm just going with it and enjoying it, really, and meeting you guys. So, yeah.
Great stuff. And we're going to go on to Coach Barry.
Good evening. I'm Coach Barry Gordon. I'm the founder of Independent Football Club. We develop young people, push them into professional academies and into professional football clubs. Plus, we do training. We push boys into all other aspects of football, like refereeing, first aid, a bit of social media, whatever. Just if they've got the love of football, we try to keep them involved. But the main thing, we work with our community, work with every association, and I'm like a little coordinator. Some people say I'm like a plug.
Great stuff. And let's go to Barry from Ultimate Sports Network.
So, good evening. I'm Barry Faust. I run the Ultimate Sports Network, and underneath that, I've got the Ultimate Football Network. Basically, I try and connect the world of football together through the various networks on Telegram. It's all free to use. We have people from like chairmen, managers, coaches, scouts, agents, players, referees. And we've just launched a sports media network, and we've also launched an amateur footballer network.
Great stuff. And our special guest, who I've literally just DM'd, and he's literally come on last minute. Thank you, Dimitri.
How's it going? Hello, everyone. Evening.
Hello.
Thanks for having me on. I was really excited when you DM'd. I was like, oh, let me quickly run upstairs and sort out my But yeah, managing week 3. I'm a brand new referee, level 7 referee. I'm the first ref to video record my performances and then post them on YouTube. And then I just talk through the game and stuff. Decisions I got right, decisions I got wrong, why I gave the decisions. And yeah, looking to get to the Prem as quick as I can.
Yes, sir.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And you know what? It's kind of one of those things where so your platform is called, is it Ref World?
Yeah, Refs World, yeah.
And it kept on popping up on my feed, and I was like, okay, this is really interesting. And then, like, I love how you're kind of very honest and open about everything that you do, and I'm like, you know what, this is really refreshing. And honestly, you kept on popping up on my feed, and I'm like, you know what, I need someone that's kind of knowledgeable about football, that's on social media. And I thought, you know what, let me just speak to you straight away. So you know what, you're doing a grand job.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Great stuff. So yes, guys, please like, subscribe, do all of the great stuff. We are going to go through some topics today, and the first topic we are going to be talking about is mental health in football. And actually, before I even begin, unfortunately, Kylie and Dean won't be able to come onto the show, but we will have them back on, I promise you. So we'll be talking about mental health in football. And I know it's a kind of huge subject, and there's kind of so many facets and branches that we can probably go down. Laura, I want to come to you first. We spoke briefly off air about a game that you literally went to watch, and you kind of witnessed a very horrific incident. And we were kind of talking about like the player and actually how long it took to actually get support for him. Could you kind of talk us through what you saw and what do you think that horrific situation could actually do to his mental health?
So you're talking about yesterday, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. So I was at the Charcoal Vets match at Elton Town yesterday, playing Johnson and Phillips, and they literally were in the last 5 minutes of the match. 2 opposing players jumped for the ball, and a Charcoal player landed awkwardly and broke his leg. And I think it was in 2 places. Sorry, Mark. Sorry. And yeah, I hung around afterwards. They postponed the match, and I was there for a good half an hour, and the ambulance still hadn't turned up when I left, which is really bad. And it's going to affect him, because it will affect his job as well. He won't be able to work. I knew a guy who was in the fire service who broke his leg playing football, and he couldn't tell the fire service that that's how he did it, because they might not have paid him, So it's going to really affect him. He's had lots of messages on social media today, supporting him and that. And hopefully he'll be able to play again. But you just don't know how bad it is. But, he was just left on the side. They've not got the first aid, like the Premier League. They all come running on with stretchers and strap them all up and pack it all up and everything else. He was just there, with a towel waiting for the ambulance. So when things happen that quickly, the first response aids recovery as well, So you just don't expect something that bad to happen at a grassroots match. So I do send my thoughts out to him, and yeah, I'll ask James later how he is, but who knows? They've just got to support him and be there for him, and one step at a time, isn't it? Really. So,
yeah. And Dimitri, as a referee, there's not really a lot of talk about how referees are in terms of their mental health before, during, and after a game. Is it something that's kind of spoken about within the league that you're in? And is it kind of something that you kind of mentally think about, like, before a game, and of course being a new ref, like how like do you kind of deal with certain situations? Oh, has Dimitri gone? I think it's frozen. It's frozen. Okay, all right. Well, oh dear, and I really want to kind of speak to him about that. But you know, let's kind of go to Coach Barry. So
Yes, sir.
so with the kids that you train, is it kind of something that you kind of talk to them about, and you know, is it something that's very easily kind of spoken about within the groups that you're in?
I think when it comes to like mental health, one thing you got to be aware of is you know at that age, like when they reach teenagers and young age, young boys can be very cruel and don't realize being very cruel. So you got to be very aware, especially if a boy comes in, he's new, he doesn't know everyone, he might not be at the level yet, and the boys are having a go. You've got to be very aware, very vigilant what is happening in that circle. You've got to be aware of the boy. Does he feel like they're picking on him? Does he feel like he's being bullied? You have to be very vigilant. So we stress that to the coaches and to people to speak. And when new boys come in and girls, we make sure everyone greets, give names, and know each other. Because it can very easily change. Even by just being called names can cause a lot of problems for a child. You know, like nicknames and that. People had it when they were at school and it's carried on. So you've got to be very careful. Mental health is a very open subject which you're speaking about, which affects people all different, with anxiety, depression, and all those sort of things. And you know, the main thing what I want to say when you ask the referee is it's very hard in grassroots because referees can start from a very young age. And I don't think they get much support because I've seen so much abuse even today in 2021, which referees still get so much abuse going into that field. And I wish you could get someone from the FA or someone to speak about what support they get. Because it is a subject, because I've got young boys going into referee at age 14 now. And I'm very concerned and I always go and monitor when they referee. So yeah, I have to be very vigilant and monitor all those areas of Greece within when it comes into the club.
Yeah. And again, I mean, I don't know. No, I think everyone knows that the FA definitely take mental health very, very, very seriously. But I think what it is, I don't want the FA.
To breeze, when have the FA taken it? Since when?
Well,
mental health has been around from the beginning. When have
100%.
I've just seen it come to their website in the last couple of years. Don't butter it up for the FA. Make it nice for them.
Oh, well,
they weren't taking it serious a few years ago. They weren't taking it.
Well, I mean,
I think Premier League, they're going on about it because they've got to be seen, and that gets the platform out there. But I think lower leagues, the ref at the game yesterday was getting it left, right, and centre.
Exactly, grassroots.
It wasn't necessary at all, you know. So, but who's there? There's no one there to look after him. It's just a grassroots football match, you know. So it needs to filter down, definitely.
Yeah. Laura, abuse is abuse, no matter where it is.
I know. And
exactly,
I know.
Be reported. And we who go and support should self-regulate as well. So when someone doing it, even if a group should approach those people and say, "It's not. We don't have that here. We don't tolerate that here."
It's individuals as well, isn't it? You can't control everybody, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
So not right.
Dimitri, I'm not too sure if you heard my question before you got cut off. Do you think that you get the support from your local FA, and again, how do you deal with certain match situations, especially as a new referee?
Probably not, because I don't really speak to them that much now that it's pre-season and stuff. I kind of just reach out to the teams and then talk to them. Can I referee your game? And then I'll just go there. As a referee, it's really difficult compared to being a player because you're very much by yourself after kickoff. So before, it's great because I'll go there, I'll introduce myself to managers, speak to the players and stuff. It's great. But as soon as kickoff comes, you're literally by yourself. Half time, you're by yourself. I know the teams go together and speak. But especially when you're giving certain decisions and players aren't happy, you can't then go and like make jokes with them like you can before the game, because the atmosphere is different. You've got to be professional as well.
What level are you,
One
Dimitri?
thing with the referee, especially Sunday League,
What is it?
very,
Seven.
very low.
Seven.
You don't get assistant referees either.
And Dimitri, you're a level 7 ref, so that means you are new. Yeah, you are new to the game in terms of refereeing.
Yeah, so brand new. I've literally ref about 6-7 games per season.
Not a distortion on my phone.
He's gone.
I have as well, Barry. Yeah, I've got that.
And actually, let me kind of go to Barry from the Ultimate Sports Network. You are very prominent on social media, especially Twitter. Again, do you think these social media platforms? It's a very loaded question, but again, do you think these social media platforms help footballers, aspiring footballers, to like not only get their word out, but kind of also support people that are kind of going through certain situations?
Yeah, I think the prominent footballers can help obviously get the word out to the right people and the right groups. But I think also social media it can be a negative for young people, can't it? Because you can imagine when we used to leave school, that any bullying or anything like that stops at school. It now carries on when we go home. It carries on at night time. So they've got their phone in their hand all the time. So social media can be used in a positive way, but it can also be used in a negative way. So it depends how it's used. It's especially around mental health. That's most of the unfortunate suicides for young people is through Facebook and things like that, through social media, because they're bullied online constantly, and they can't get away from it. That's the problem, because these people set up a new account and then they carry it on. And I think the prominent names need to step up a bit more, and start saying things about mental health and talking about it a lot more than they do. I don't think they talk about it enough.
Yeah, I think the word mental health is almost like a buzzword for like certain companies, and they kind of, and I would say the FA use the word mental health as a kind of buzzword, as a trending topic, which is wrong. But again, it's Mark, actually, what do you think grassroots clubs can actually do to actually improve awareness of like mental health, and other things at like your club that you coach, that you've implemented to actually help your players?
So what my club do at the moment, I feel like it's a very good way. We have mentors, that's also included in the club, and we also do workshops. So we do a lot of, so sometimes it's training, and then one day, let's say in the term, and we just get all the kids together and we just talk about mental health, and we're also trying to educate the parents about their mental health so they can feed it back onto their kids, because the kids learn from the parents, so the parents will want to learn about new things. So we educate the parents first about, okay, in this situation, this is how you handle it, in this situation, this is how your son or your daughter could be thinking in the game. By you screaming and shouting doesn't help in this scenario. So this is what you can do next, so to improve the mental health of your child. So we do workshops like that, and then we also have mentors that's at the clubs, that sometimes players don't want to talk to their parents or their main coach. They just want to go to the mentor, and then the mentor can just feedback to us on how let's say my under 10 player is thinking, my under 12 player is thinking. And then that's how us can get better as coaches, and put on a session where they can get better, and then educate the parents on how to problem solve and how to make their son or daughter mental health better. But yeah, so that's the methods. I feel like more grassroots clubs shouldn't only just focus on training, matches. Yes, we're playing the sport of football, but football is deeper. It's not just kicking the ball around, because some people see football as a painkiller. Same people see football as fun games play football with my mates, you know. So it depends on what angle you're taking it from. Is the level of your mental health is going to be. And I feel like if more grassroots club put on a workshop that's away from football but still relate to football in that sense, then it's better. Then we can start seeing like slight improvements. A little adjustments can make a big difference, in my personal opinion. So,
Mark,
yes,
what I found out, like speaking to a lot of the young children in my club, the main feedback I get, what they feel like at school, at home, they said no one really listens to their point of view. And that's what causes so much of the stress and trauma. Sometimes they get anxiety. But they said no one don't listen. Everybody's always, because we're young, everybody's always just talking at us and telling us what to do. So I've always stressed, like, listen to the feedback from the parents. Listen to what they've got to say. You'll find that a lot once, like I keep saying this word, trust. Once they trust you and they open up, you find a whole different personality and character there within that person.
100%. I'm so happy you said that, because I had so the current under 8s now that's going to U9 football in September. I had them since I was 5. And they was very closed off. They were just normal 5-year-olds running around, kicking the ball, bumping into each other. And I'm raising my head. I'm like, what's all this? So as that time going by, months going by, I'm starting to find solutions. And I noticed that don't just be their coach. Try to be their mentor. If anything, try to be a little bit of the older brother. Just let them express themselves. Like if they want to giggle, let them giggle. Like if they want to play around, sometimes let them play around. But there should be an on and off button of jokey Coach Mark and a serious Coach Mark.
Exactly.
So, but like we said, let them express themselves, build that trust, and also hear them. The word "hear them" or the sentence "hearing them" it's so key. But a lot of adults who just let go over our heads because obviously of the way we've been brought up ourselves. You must listen to us. You must. But what about the child? Also spreading their point of view. That's also key. So back to us saying that allow them to express themselves, and now every single one of them are so confident to the point where they're like, "Oh, thank you, big bro. This, that." I'm like, wow. So when they're playing football now, they're happier and they play for me and they play for each other because I allow them to actually express themselves without making them feel any sort of way, and allow them to express their point of view in the team talk sometimes. And they're like, wow, I actually got a leg to stand on. Well done.
And
so it helps their mental health, makes them actually enjoy the game better.
No, brilliant. And actually, I mean, again, of course, apart from Laura, we're all men here, and I think there's a kind of certain generation of like men, especially that find it difficult to actually talk about feelings and emotions, and people my age, find it hard to literally open up about certain things that they're like struggling with.
Like what, Tabriz? Like what?
It could be about anything. It could be work life, home life. It could be anything. I can probably count on one hand how many people I would feel comfortable opening up to 100%. And especially
would you rather open up to a guy or a girl?
I think it depends on the situation. Oh gosh. Okay, so again, I'll be
depends on the trust, Laura. It's gonna go down.
Yeah. So literally probably like where I was struggling the most. I'm kind of going a little bit off like topic a little bit, but it probably did affect my football. And so when I used to work in the city, I was kind of going through a really, really, really bad time. And I literally went to a counselor. It's the first time that that I've kind of gone to a kind of counselor, and like they were kind of talking about my childhood, and I was thinking, why are you talking about my childhood? I'm literally struggling now at work. Why are you talking about some but you know, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, oh wow, so this is probably why I react a certain way, because this happened in my childhood, or like because you know I don't like doing this, my response is this. And you know, it's the first time that I felt as if someone was listening. I mean, of course, you know, I've kind of got my parents and like kind of whatnot. But you know, again, that's the first time that I felt not free, but you know, I felt what's the word? I felt relaxed, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like a weight was lifted.
Yeah, 100%. When
sharing is caring.
100%. But you know, again, to like Mark and to Coach Barry and also Dimitri as well. Do you think, especially in the kind of ethnic community, there's like still a stigma about mental health?
Yeah, I feel like in some some upbringings, like for example, I was born and raised in Jamaica, so mental health is not a thing over there. It just, you live life and you struggle, you try to find your best way out of it. I never had someone telling me, okay, this is how you're doing this scenario, this is how you fix it, this is how you fix it, this is how you fix it. So me coming here, playing football, interacting, big culture shock, and I'm still trying to understand the culture and all that and different cultures. And me climbing up the ladder in football, me getting my scholar there, me playing football here. And I'm like, and then my head's not in the right place. So imagine I'm playing football, but my head's somewhere else, because no one's actually teaching me like, okay, once you get into a bad challenge, and because I'm a clean-hearted person, I feel like I hurt that person now. For the rest of the game, I'm just thinking about that one challenge that I shouldn't have done when I could have like continued. So my mental health is like all over the place, anxiety. I don't want to get into another strong challenge because I could hurt another person. So I never had all that sort of little education that's so important. So that's why I do it with my under 8s and my under 10s and just teach them, okay, when this happens, you move on. When this happens, this is how you think about it, this is how you solve it, you move on. You know, so it's just the little one-liners, sometimes it just makes a big difference, in my personal opinion. But if you got the older generation of parents haven't been educated about mental health, and in this, especially in this century now, mental health is a massive thing. People from older generations, they might not be bothered, but they are aware. If that makes sense, that they're aware that mental health is a thing, but they might not be bothered to tap into it and actually understand what is actually mental health. Because when I was growing up, I don't know mental health. No. But now I know about mental health, but what is actually mental health?
Yeah.
Sorry, Barry, go on, you carry on.
No, I was going to say there's all different types of mental health, what's come under that.
Yes.
It's a broad scope. And I'm going to go back to football and my experience of it with players that come in. I've had a few players with autism, but they're just slightly on the spectrum. So what we find with people who have autism, they love, you must keep repetition. And they don't like too much. It's like cones and different colors and drills that really kind of confuses them sometimes. You've got people that realize there's a lot of professional players who have autism. The guy who plays for Wolves, I don't know if you know Traore, the winger. They always said, they used to say, he's terrible in training, he's really bad at doing drills and stuff. But he's got autism.
I didn't know that.
Got autism. A lot of players, people say they're really bad in training. They've got drills and colours and cones and all that. They find it, their brain calculates and makes things different. The way they focus on things is completely different. So a lot of clubs are introducing and recognising a lot of players who they think are poor at training. They're slightly on the spectrum. They do have autism. And like Mark said, especially in our community, someone's got autism or a mental health, that's shoved us even away. I work in a SEN school, autism school, and a lot of parents, they're like ashamed of their child. It's because their child's got autism. But it's an old stigma we've got, especially in back home, because obviously, like Mark, I'm Jamaica, back and forth all the time. And over there, something was like not really even talked about, really.
No.
being hidden away. But that's my thing. Work with boys who have autism at my grassroots clubs. I don't know how other people deal with it. It was interesting as Dimitri, as you know, any referees with autism.
I don't at the moment, just because I'm still like meeting new people. But I just want to touch on something that Mark said, which I think is amazing, is allowing kids to express themselves at a young age. I think that's very, very important, because when I used to play when I was younger, I used to make a mistake and the manager would just shout at me.
Yeah.
And even with like family life as well, it was very hard for me to express myself. So then when you grow up like that, especially with managers shouting, you find it hard to say things that you're thinking. So you tend to bottle it up, and that's when it becomes worse.
But Dimitri, can I ask you a question? Do you think that comes from the home as well? Because there's another way. What I found out after coaching for years, a lot of the coaches use words to shut down players. Like, I've got this thing with no, don't do that, no.
Yeah, a lot of that, and a lot of swearing as well, which was
when the coach instead could say not no, but you could do it this way. How do you think about doing it this way? Because no just closes the door on the player.
Exactly. And then you just like go into your shell and you're like, right, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to do this.
And that comes from the home. But that comes from the home. And not that comes from
I agree.
Your first experience as a child, your parent goes, no, don't do that. But there's no explanation, no reasoning.
Yeah.
It's a complete shutdown.
Yeah,
100%. Football, and there you go again. Sorry to cut you.
That's right. You're so used to like, no. You just get into that routine of, okay, they said no, don't say anything about it. But my partner, my in-laws, they're so open. I've been with my partner for 5 years now, and her family is so open. It's taken me years to get used to it. And even now I still struggle. Like, they're open about everything. And then I'm complete opposite. I'm just like, wait, can I say this? Can I not say this? And it's very hard, especially when you're at an older age. It's very hard to change that.
Yeah.
And I would just wish that as growing up, I was allowed to express myself, and maybe it would have changed me for the better as a person.
Yeah. And I've got a question for Barry, Ultimate Sports Network. I mean, with the amount of work that you do, I mean, it's literally almost like a 24-hour job, you know, to be honest. We've like spoken in terms of like the things that you want to achieve and like whatnot. I mean, how do you like de-stress? I mean, you know, your mental state must really take a battering with the work that you do, right?
Yeah, it does. But I mean, I've got a dog. I take for a walk. I watched my club. I went to watch Wimbledon on Saturday. That was quite stressful.
Was that
quite nice.
stressful?
I don't know. I think helping. I think helping people actually helps me de-stress. It's quite nice. It's quite a nice feeling. So if I put someone in touch with someone and they get something out of it, they get a link, they get a contact, they get a job, they get somewhere further. That's a good feeling for me. And that's so it, although it's all the time, it doesn't stress me out as much as you might think. I suppose I put myself in that position. So I think actually I want to help people. I've put myself in this position. If it is going to stress me out, I should be doing something else really. So it doesn't stress me out because I'm always putting someone in touch with someone or always helping someone. So it's actually quite a nice thing, really.
Yeah. And Laura, I mean, we've like now seen the women's football league now. You know, it's literally exploded now. It's kind of growing every single day. I mean, however, like you've seen the changes as a kind of West Ham fan, and literally now there's like a lot more women that are now going into football. Have you kind of seen like the changes, and literally have you kind of experienced it, like any kind of remarks, or literally how do you see like a football stadium? I mean, are you kind of conscious that it's still a lot of men here, and you are probably the majority in terms of, you know, being a female supporter?
Yeah, so over the last month I've probably experienced this on different levels. So I went to the West Ham game. The person I went with is from Yorkshire and felt like they just couldn't even open their mouth. And a lot of them behind me were typical London boys, and you know, and I felt absolutely fine. That's not me, by the way. That's not me.
Not me.
Yeah. So, who is that?
Is that me?
Is it me?
Not me.
Not me.
Hold
What
on.
is that?
Hold on.
Is that me? Sorry.
Hold on. I think oh, yeah, it was you.
Sorry. Oh, God, I hope it wasn't James. He killed me. Anyway, right, where was I? So I felt fine because my family originate from East Ham, so I felt absolutely fine with it. I'm used to that. I went along by myself to the Vets game yesterday, and it's littered with Millwall fans. So I thought I quickly cottoned on that. Keep the fact that you're a West Ham supporter to yourself, and become an honorary Millwall fan. But it was fine. I was getting the odd look of who's that girl standing there? Who does she think she is? But I can hold my own, whereas some people would probably feel a bit awkward, you know. But I knew I was there for a reason. I knew why I was there, and I thought, well, I'm not hurting you. I don't care. But with terms of players, I've noticed there's a lot of support on social media now. People retweeting about the girls playing, how well they're doing. You know, from Premier League right down, they're really pushing like. Teams like Ramsgate and Hastings, for example, have got really good girl teams. You know, they're like winning 7-0 and stuff, and they're really pushing it. And they market it the same as their male teams, which I think is good. They use the same, you know, profiles and the same wording, and they don't segregate it. So I've noticed it's really coming into its own, and the profile is really getting lifted, and I think it's brilliant. I love it. So I just wish I was young enough to play, but I just have to watch. So, but yeah, so from a supporter's perspective and a player's perspective, yeah, I suppose, you know, for players it's good, supporters it can be a little bit wary, but I think it just depends where you go and, you know, what you're looking for, really. So, yeah.
Yeah, cool. And again, thank you to everyone that's watching, and thank you to you guys for your opinions and conversation. Let's gonna go to the next topic. Could be quite controversial. But yeah, like, when is it time to give up on your dreams? And what I kind of mean by this is, like, when is it time to give up thinking you're going to become a professional footballer, i.e., or possibly even a referee? Let me start with Dimitri. I mean, you have aspirations to become a pro referee. Do you have a time limit? I mean, what's your kind of overall process? And you know, when is it time to say, you know what, I'm not going to make it this far. What am I going to do next?
There's not a time limit at the moment. I don't want to like rush it and then it be the wrong move. I've definitely got a goal in sight. So yes, I want to reach the top, but at the moment, I definitely want to ref in like non-league football, say the Isthmian Prem or even Conference South and North. With refereeing, I think it's a bit different because you don't have to be young. You can be quite older. Like, I'm 27 now, and I'm still quite fit. So I still know I've got like a good 10 years of hoping in me to ref, maybe even longer. But every year, my goal at the moment now is just to gain promotion. So I'm a level 7 ref now. I know like all the stuff I need to hit. So I need to officiate 20 11-a-side matches to get to level 7 to level 6. I need to have 3 observations from other referee development officers, and I need to hit a good standard from teams reporting back. So right now I'm just taking it like year by year. I've definitely got a bigger goal in mind, but I'm just trying to hit those small targets because I don't want to put too much pressure on myself. But at the same time, I definitely want to go far with this. And I feel like I've got time.
Okay.
I know other people have started younger, but I definitely do feel like I've got a bit of time.
You definitely do.
Thank you.
And to Coach Barry and also to like Coach Mark, you like have a plethora of players that come into black teams. I mean, what do you guys say to any of the guys who that you think, you know, who are slightly deluded? And, you know, literally, again, that, you know, that's, I don't want to say players are deluded, but,
Did you say deluded?
Well, yeah, you know, I said dilute because I'm sure that you guys have literally seen players and I've spoken to players that literally want to play at a crazy level, and you look at them now and like they're not just doing they're not doing the right stuff. I mean, there like must be a time where you have to be honest with that player, and literally when is that time, and what do you say if you know if you have had that conversation with that particular player?
Coach Barry, go first.
With me, I always give them examples. I love giving examples of players. And I think football, on anything you do in life, depends on the individual. Because everybody's dreams can come at a different time. It all depends on your focus, your determination, and what you really want out of life. Is it truly what you want out of life? Like I've told Tabrice, you can look at great examples like we're now seeing Jamie Vardy. We're now seeing Antonio. I played with a young guy called Ian Wright, who was at Arsenal. All those guys had horrific journeys where they was told they were never good enough to be professional footballers. And they got knocked down and got up, knocked down, got up, knocked down, got up. It takes a special type of person with that determination and belief within himself to get there. No matter what I say to a player, ain't going to give him that determination or focus to be a professional footballer. No matter what I say, I'm not going to make him get up every morning and train and do the things he should be doing, eat the right food, the right diet. It all depends on your self-determination if you want to get all the way to the top to be a professional footballer. So I'm not going to tell a 15 or 16-year-old, you're never going to be a professional footballer. I know Antonio at West Ham quite well. He wasn't the best. He wasn't technical at all. He was a big, strong, very physical player. And he worked and worked at his game. Like I said to Tabrice, he went to teach in the Mitcham. He played non-league and game and trials. He got knocked back 4 or 5 times. But what do we look at today? Look where he is today. So it all depends on the individual person. And what is important is the circle you keep. The teenage players, I always tell them, be careful of have people around you who are like-minded. And don't have girlfriends what keep you in bed when you should be on training.
I agree with that. That's what
the honest truth.
Done. He ain't have a girlfriend.
Your girlfriend should be saying, get up and get to training and pushing you. You should have the same objectives and the same dreams. So I'm simple. A lot of it depends on the individual because we're talking about mental and mental health.
Yeah.
It's in everything you do in career, it's a mindset. A mindset. I just believe I believe anybody can be anything if they put their mind. Dimitri, you want to be a top referee on television? Just believe it and put everything in, and you can get there. Yeah. Don't let anybody put the blockers on you.
Yeah.
Because if people love to doubt people, and this is what I hate, do not doubt. I'm here, all of you are there. I'm here to support and push. When you're happy, I'm going to be clapping and happy with you. I'm sorry.
See? You knew it. I want to come to your phone. Yeah. Oh God. But you saying about it's like constructive criticism, isn't it? But also it's decisions that are made in your life as well. Like I know players back in the day, they're spotting players now that are like 3 and 4 years old. It's ridiculous. But there was a time that Ben Foden was 4, right? So this is ridiculous. So, but I've got friends that were spotted when they were 10.
Yeah.
And got into the Premier, almost into the Premier League, but they made a decision. They were told at the time by their coach, don't sign that contract yet, hold back. And then that was it. The opportunity never came back. And now they've dropped back down. And they're having to do a normal job alongside the league they're now playing in. And it must affect you because you must be thinking, what if, if I'd have made that decision that day, I could have been in the Premier League and my life would be completely different now. But then you've got to also deal with the hand you've got, haven't you?
Laura, there's lots of players who drop out and come back at that sort of age. That's why I said it all depends on the individual and the mind, how strong you are. You can drop out and come back even stronger than you were before. It depends, especially if you're like 16, 17, 18, 19. What do you know? You're there's so much open for you. And the way football is now, don't limit yourself just for here. There's opportunities all around. I love the way Germany's picking off our talent as well and giving them great opportunities to go into first teams and they're expressing themselves. I love them. Mark, over to you, son.
Wow,
honestly,
top
no, I know. Honestly speaking, so if I have a player that wants to play, he's 17, wants to play in National League, let's say National League Conference, one league below League Two.
Yeah.
And I know that he hasn't worked on a few things. The first thing I say is that, yes, you have the belief, but the 3 questions I'll ask them, I ask all the players, all my clients that I trade, is your heart in it? Have you got enough reps in the weakness of your weakest attributes? Okay, if you have, how many hours have you been training on them? Those are 3 questions I always ask. Is your heart in it? If your heart is in it, then okay, then I know that your mind, then your mind's right. Because some people, they think with their heart and not with their mind. So they think with their emotions, and then they allow the emotions to dictate what's next.
Very true.
So what I do, so ask them that critical, but it's so basic question. Now, I believe that any player can potentially get to the highest level possible for themselves, based on reps. How many times, if I got a winger, how many times have he kind of shooting? How many times he's gone down the line and crossed with his left foot? How many times he's gone down the line, crossed with his right foot? How many times have he done combination of passes on the flank, on the left side, the right side? How many times has he broken the back 4 line? How many times has he run in between the back 4 or the right back or the left back? How many times has he done it? How many times? Because it's like refereeing as well. The more games you ref, the easier it is for you, because based on your experience, the older you get and the more reps you have in a particular scenario, the more comfortable you're feeling and the more accurate your decision is going to be, and the quicker you think on the spot. So for young players like that,
Mark, can I ask you a question?
yeah.
What sort did you play and have aspirations as well yourself?
I did have aspirations to play football.
Yeah.
And I could say I was a talented one, but I was there for numbers. I was never the standout. I was more of a player that blended in into the playing style. I never stood out on no one. I never stood out to catch anyone's eye, but I always do my job, which some players like it, but some coaches like it, some coaches don't. So that turned me into a coach myself, so I could see as a player and as a coach, what am I doing wrong or what am I doing right?
Yeah.
So I can learn from both sides of the view as a football. But you know what I mean? So little things like that.
Oh, you know what? Again, the utmost respect to Coach Barry and to Coach Mark, but those are vanilla answers, Like,
honestly, okay, cool. But honestly,
because you know what, like how I see it is,
you know,
how I see it is, and again, you know what?
Look at
give me a scenario. Give me a scenario. And I'll give you a good answer. Give me a scenario, please. Give me a scenario. I'll give you a good answer.
Coach Barry looking at me like this,
He's not impressed. He's not impressed. I loved your answer. I thought it was very inspiring. I thought actually I could listen to this every day.
You know what?
I thought it was brilliant answer.
No, but give me a scenario and I'll give you a good answer. Give me a question, honestly.
What answer would you give then? Come on.
Actually, you know what? Before I say anything, Barry from the Ultimate Sports Network. Come on, like when the time
to question to Brees is there's never a time to give up on your dreams.
Yes.
You never give up on your dreams. That's the answer. You never give up on your dreams.
There's hope for me yet.
Look what a group of fans did when the FA said we weren't in the wider interest of football. Look what we did. We formed a new club. We started a new ground, and look what we did.
Yes.
And we were told no. We were told no. We never gave up
There
on
you
our
are.
dream. There you go.
There. See?
True. Yes,
Yeah.
it's good that you can't. They shouldn't put a time limit and forget and then drop on your dreams. But you also have to be realistic. So you can't. So you can be. So you can have a big dream, but every player wants to get to the Premier League, but they don't understand the pressure, the mental health, the business, the money, the parents, the kids, the family that's involved in that. You
Only a
becoming
small
that Premier League player.
percentage make it as well.
Of course.
It's
Tiny
very small,
percentage.
and football is very opinionated. So when I have a question like, okay, this young player will be a professional footballer, but bear in mind that some players won't actually make it in football because of how their parents behave. Some players might not able to make it because their mind's not right. So linked to what Barry's saying, based on their friendship groups, I can name you 5 players that should be playing minimum championship, but it's because of their friendship group, they're not playing non-league.
Same here.
You know what I mean? So it's hard. It's hard.
Isn't it?
It's hard. It's hard. But honestly, your question, like,
actually, you know what?
some
Before I
dads,
say,
they live their dream for their kids,
That's
and that's the dad's dream, and that's not the child's dream.
That's
Fabrice
right,
is going to
To play football.
explode in a minute.
I see that a lot, Mark. I see that a lot.
Do you get what I'm saying, Barry? Like,
Yeah,
have
I
a conversation with dad. Have a conversation with dad. That's
Mario
saying,
as well.
oh, my son should be playing this level. My son should be playing this age. My son should be doing this, should be doing that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, in your heart that son is not levels. He's not on that level yet.
Yeah.
But the dad is forcing it, and then it's going to get to a point where it's going to get to a point where the dad's paying for so much one-to-one, so much group sessions, so much this, so much that. Take him to Jerusalem and back. Next you know that he's not, his mindset is not there, his heart is not in there, and then 14, 15, 16, Dad, I don't want to play football no more.
Yeah, exactly it. Yeah.
Dimitri, you've been mightily quiet.
I'm just waiting. I like to hear other people's opinions, but it's difficult giving up on a dream. You never want to admit to yourself, "Oh, I'm not going to make it." Like, I used to play football, and I was one of them people. I was like 19. I was like, I'm still going to make it to the Prem. I don't know how, but I'm still going to make it. So it's extremely difficult to be like, "Oh, I'm not good enough anymore," because then you start doubting yourself. You're like, "Am I good enough for this? Am I good enough for that? Does that mean everything that I do I'm not good enough for?" And like, football's a big thing. People put a lot into football, and then when it doesn't happen for them, they don't have something to fall back on. So then they struggle. But there's like, what people don't understand, there's other parts of football. It's not just football. There's so much to it. There's coaching, there's refereeing, there's being a physio. There's so much involved in football. And I wish I understood that when I was younger. Because me, I was just football.
Yeah.
I wish I had done coaching badges when I was younger. I had the chance, and I was like, I don't want to be a coach. But now I look back at it, I was like, wow, I would love to be a coach.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, it's hard to give up on your dream, but sometimes your dreams change as well. If you're within football, like, it could be a coaching dream, it could change. But as long as you know you have there's so much to do within football.
That's right.
Which people don't realize, and I'm not sure how you can get it out there to express, oh, it's not just about playing. There's so much more.
Premier League everything though? You could have made it into any league and be happy, can't you? You might just want to get to National League, or the grassroots is brilliant, isn't it?
I used to play like Saturday semi-pro, and for the first couple of years I loved it. I was like, I made some good friends and I loved it. I was like, why would I had like opportunities to go to other teams, but I was like, I'm comfortable here. This is what I enjoy. Why would I want to move there? Like, I was enjoying it. This was 21, 22. I was enjoying it. I was like, I don't want to go anywhere else because I'm finally enjoying football. I've got a great bunch of people around me. Why change it? It's more. I think it's more than just money and fame. God, I have to talk on this. I see you raising your hand. I see you're just gonna jump out your seat.
I have to talk on this.
Go.
Okay, every dad and every mom wants their child to play in the Premier League, right? My mindset is, can I build a player and a person that can stay in the football league as long as possible? Meaning, if you can have a 20-year or 15-year career in League One, then I'm happy. If he has a 5-year, 6-year career in Championship, I'm happy. He's still a professional footballer.
Yeah.
They're skipping that League One, National League Conference, League Two, and Championship are not professional. Premier League, when you get Premier League, you're professional.
Yeah.
You just get a bigger bonus. Your pocket just gets bigger.
Yeah.
But also, you just know that your mental health is going to get challenged more once you get to the Premier League.
But Mark and everyone, but they've created all these levels for where you fit, where your level can be fit.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's a level where you go, and it's up to you if you want to push yourself more up the levels. But I want to hear Tabriz sitting there and going on, because he was at Leeds. He was at Leeds when he was 6 years old. Where did your dreams?
Okay. You know what? And you know, I'll be absolutely honest with you. You know, Coach. Oh, Coach, you are a wrong one. You know what? I mean, probably realistically for me, probably when I hit maybe 22, 23, I knew I wasn't going to be a professional.
How? How did you know?
I just knew because
Did you play semi-pro? You never mentioned if you played semi-professional.
I played semi-pro in like Leeds.
Okay.
I played for half a season. And there were some players that literally moved on to play for Bradford, to actually play for Wolves as well.
Yeah.
And you know what? I personally, I just kind of knew at like 23, I like 22, 23, definitely at 24, that my professional playing like career was over purely on the fact that I wasn't probably in the right circles. I was playing Sunday League, and again, I love Sunday League football 100%. But like maybe I like could have pushed myself, and I know Mark and Coach Barry, you guys have spoken about that. And you know what? I didn't have a coach like you guys in my kind of late teens, early 20s. But me, like being a late teen, early 20s, you guys don't coach players like me. I like that age. So
I do.
Okay, but well, I think Dimitri said it really well. There's like other avenues in football, coaches, physios, etc. When do you have that conversation with a player, Coach Barry and Coach Mark? You must have that conversation with players. Like you can't just keep saying, keep reaching for the stars, because again,
you can't be nice all the time.
You can't be nice all the time.
You got to kill with kindness.
100%.
I think a player realizes that himself. I think a player realizes that himself before someone tells him.
Like I totally understand what everyone's been saying in terms of like you can't give up your dreams. Hey, like people have told me I shouldn't be even doing this like type of platform. I totally get it. But again, this like type of sports platform is different from playing professional football. There's a time limit. Like there is a time limit. Like there is a time limit. Yeah. Definitely. So again, like when do you guys have that conversation with a player to say, you know what, there's other avenues in football? Like there must be a conversation.
But like I've said, I've got boys who go on from their 14 doing referee courses already, doing coaching courses already at that age. I don't know what they're gonna. A 14-year-old doesn't really know where he's gonna end up. You might have all that aspiration to say I'm gonna be a professional footballer, but remember, just like playing football, you go through transitions. It's the same in life. Your whole future and the way you look at life will change as you move along. Mark's an important point, because I've had a lot of players hate football just because of their dad. They hate it because their dad has pushed them from such a young age. Go on, and rollicking them and pushing them, and like you say, paying for ones-on-ones, pushing them. These are academy players at top of academy clubs. They didn't want nothing to do with football anymore. They don't want nothing to do with football.
Parents want you to do it.
Yeah, the family's killed their love of it. They don't want to play.
Okay. Okay. So Barry, like through your network, and I see the messages, there's like a lot of academy players who are 21, 22, like 23 that have that used to play for Barnet, you know, Wigan, etc. I mean, I like, you know, coaches, managers, scouts really still after those type of players who have like dropped out.
Yeah.
They do, because you know, I do get messages and I get asked for players, but I can't say to the coach or the scout or whoever it might be, oh, this is the player for you. I just put them in touch, and then the rest will happen. But yeah, they do ask for them. They do. You know, they'll say, can I have a right back, 20? I don't want anyone over 2024. Okay, so I put a search in. These are the players that are in the network. I speak to the player in the network. Do you want to speak to this guy? Yeah, I want to speak to. There you go. Speak to it, and you can speak to him, or they'll contact them direct through the hub. But they do. Yeah, they do get contacted. They do get spoken to. So I mean, not all of them. I mean, there's over 100 and I don't know, 120 odd players in there, I think, but some do. I mean, and what I try and do is make sure everyone gets. So if it's centre forward, for example, and they want someone at a certain age or a certain region, I try and put them all forward. I don't go, oh, you can't do it because you've only been playing this level of football. It's not down to me to say that to the player, is it? It's down to the coach to say, no, we can't, or whatever, or the scout, or wherever it is, to put the limits in, whatever they want to do.
Okay, Laura. I mean, come on, like
Barry, I need you, boy.
Laura. I mean, like there must be a time. You know, I would love to get your opinion. You know, and please don't say something so BT and like Sky-esque. You know, I want something meaty. Come on, give me something.
So I looked into this. Apparently, you're written off once you're 23. That's it. That's when you should give it up. That's what the stats say. 23. But I know people that are playing. They're 36 and they're brilliant. They're brilliant. They go on about Ronaldo, don't they? Oh, he's 36. Has he still got it in him? He's blooming Ronaldo. He'll still be playing God knows. Do you know what I mean? It's just.
I think Akin was 39, isn't he?
Who? Milner.
Yeah. I think he's 39.
Yeah, he's a Trojan, isn't he? I mean, he's a perfect example as well. He behaves the way he should. He loves where he is, and you know, and look where it's got him. You can keep going, can't you? So you know.
Yeah. Okay. So Ronaldo,
here he goes. Look.
And Milner, yes.
He's putting pressure on tonight, isn't he?
Yeah, 100%. But you know, again,
no, I like this.
But again, we are talking about Milner, who broke into the Leeds team when he was 16. We're like talking about Ronaldo that broke into Porto at 17. So again, like that's
quite late, isn't it? Well, it's very late.
That's early.
Early.
Do you think? Compared to the ages they're signing them up now?
No, for first team.
It's getting younger and younger.
No, for first team. He went to first team at that age.
Yeah, So
you're not academy.
So you know, again, you know, please, you know, guys, panel, please tell me a player that's literally made their Premiership debut after the age of 21. Name me a Premiership player.
Vardy, we told you Vardy already.
No.
Vardy.
Okay, one.
You did ask one. So.
You said one specifically. So
you tell us, Fabrice. Come on, tell us what you want to hear.
Alan Cork. I reckon Alan Cork did as well. I think Alan Cork for Wimbledon did. I think as well.
Gary Birtles, bricklayer. He was a bricklayer.
Oh well, there you are. See,
he didn't
know from non-league.
Alan Cork had low airs. He definitely was over 21.
You know what? I do hear what you guys are saying, and again, honestly, with all rainbows and unicorns and candy floss, I do get it 100%. But also as well, it's you know, at 23, 24, if you're still at an academy, or literally, if you've not made that jump into the first team, for whatever, you know, if it's Prem,
highly unlikely.
Championship, it's very, you know, so again, you know,
agreed.
But we don't make that.
Can I ask though, why? Why is that?
because some of them because obviously a lot of academies they do get funding as well for having registered players from the FA. So what happened is that let's say if you're playing Cat Ones or Cat Ones like the Liverpools, Man United, Arsenals, the Chelseas, the big clubs.
Actually, before Mike, can you kind of explain what a Cat 1 is, please, or like Cat, like what?
Okay, so all these clubs they're categorized by their facilities, so based on the facilities. So you know how Tottenham's got a wicked facility, Arsenal's got a wicked facility. So it's all based on the facilities. So depending if you like an indoor dome, you get Cat 1. The amount of pitches you have, the quality of the pitches, the amount of space you have is all based on how good it is and how like modern day it is. So
it's not on league, so you need to know.
Don't forget,
That doesn't seem fair to me.
I just passed Chris Patch just now. Yeah, literally.
That don't seem fair because you could be a really good player at a facility that's just not there. That's not your fault, is it? I just don't.
Not your fault. But at the same time, in my personal opinion, it teaches you to appreciate football more. Because it's a lot of players that come from the Arsenals, the Tottenhams, and the Chelseas, and they come from like luxury. So every time they finish training, they get a fresh towel. When you go to, let's say, Lincoln City, and they don't produce weekly towels, and you have to use the same towel. It teaches you how to actually look after the things that you've been given, and you have to look after it, and you're not being spoon-fed.
Yeah,
and then all them little things like that. So that's how you get categorized based on your facilities alone. And what I'm saying is, so for example, if you're playing under 23 football and you're 21, which is all right, but you should be pushing that for a loan deal to stop playing men's football. 22, that means that the first team manager doesn't rate you. Then 23, that means that they're trying to push you out, or either they gave you a big contract in your early 20s, so 19, 20. So basically, if they give you a big contract with big wages as an academy boy, and they know that you're not that, the levels for the first team, they'll just keep you in the 23s or just keep loaning you out every season. Right. And until the actual contract that they gave you at 19 runs out, and then just throw you in the bin.
Because by that time you've been in the first team, right?
That's tough.
Yeah. It's tough, but football's a cruel sport, and I've got a bunch of boys that are like that, and some of them are lucky enough to still break into the first team, or some of them are on loans, trying to scrape like the opportunities to still become a professional footballer, even though they got a pro contract. That means nothing in the manager's eyes. You being a first team regular is a professional. You sign a professional contract don't mean you're a professional footballer in their eyes. You being on the pitch with the first team players, on the coaches, in the canteen, in the same dressing room, that means you're a professional footballer in their eyes.
So did that type of thing happen to you, Tabrice, when you got to 23 to make you think this isn't going the way I want it to go? Was you getting those kind of vibes? I mean, that must affect you.
So when I was in Leeds, I was playing for Yorkshire Amateurs and Farsley Celtic. And they were semi-pro teams, and that was a rude awakening for me. Because again, it was, it was like who rather than your ability. And I got slightly disillusioned about the whole thing. And again, we're like talking about like traveling to Huddersfield, traveling to York during the week, and that's when I didn't drive, so I had to try and catch a lift, and then you're not playing, or literally you're not in a squad, and if you missed a training session, that literally puts you further down in the pecking order. And I was looking, and I was thinking, I really enjoy playing football, and I think I'm pretty good at it. But this malarkey, I don't think I'm down for it. And again, you just sense when you're not in the manager's plans. And probably since like that time, and I know I kind of joke about being like part of Leeds and like whatnot. But again, I've had friends. Okay, so Aaron, Lennon, like again, we kind of grew up together. I kind of know his brother. There was Ashley. There was Jermaine. That all kind of played for like Bradford, Huddersfield, York, respectively. And I haven't spoken to Aaron recently, but I know everyone else got really disillusioned about football because it was, it's not cracked out to what people see, on Sky and BT. Like, there's like a lot of politics, and the moment I started playing grassroots again, that's kind of literally where I like fell back in love with football. And yeah, again, exactly what Mark said. At the age of 23, like 22, 23, 24, I knew that my dream was done. Literally, I wasn't going to be at Ian Wright 100% because literally, I kind of looked up at Ian Wright thinking, okay, if he could make it when like he was 24, 25, then I can make it. But hey, I just knew that I just didn't have maybe the network, like maybe I was lying to myself. There was just like a lot of factors, but but no, like it is what it is. And again, to like Coach Barry and to Coach Mark, you guys mix the old school with the new way of thinking, which is so important. And you're having that belief in your players' abilities, your like the players' mindsets and mentalities is so important. And again, that's why I want to talk about mental health, at first, because that's so important. But hey, I mean, I'm not bitter.
You wouldn't be talking to us now. You wouldn't have met us. You'd be like, who are those minions? Those.
Literally, the one thing I want to say is that how you just touched on how me and Coach Barry do old school methods, but we also mix it in with the modern day mental health thinking and all that sort of education. And I always break it down to every player. Does the brain control the body? Yes. So if you become mentally tough and quicker and you're a sharp thinker, do you think your body's going to react quicker? Yes. Do you reckon you'll be able to problem solve quicker? Yes. So that's why I've noticed a lot of coaches get a bit wrong. Strengthen the mind so the body can follow. The more reps the body has in scenarios, the more scenarios that the brain reads and be in, the quicker your body moves and react. So if we're all trying to build footballers with a strong mental health and the good ability, strengthen the brain first, so everything else can follow.
That's right.
Yep.
So it all leads down to how we think and how we feel.
Cool. Coach Barry, are we still friends?
Don't worry.
He ran off a minute ago. Did you see that? He ran off and then he thought, "Oh, I better come back."
Yeah, he got a
He went to get another bottle.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Well,
All righty, let's move on to the final topic.
Oh God, I can't. Do you know what? I've asked friends about this, and they're like, "What the hell? What kind of question is that?"
Wow. Oh, okay. Well, hey,
It's not even comparable, is it?
Wow.
Yeah.
It's not even the same
100%.
era.
No.
Okay. Well, let's start with Dimitri. Pep or Ferguson, and why?
Throw you to the wolves. Go on.
Where did this question come from?
Yeah.
It's a really good question, honestly.
Do you think?
I
Very
think
good
Alex Ferguson, only because Pep, he's a good manager. He's got a good philosophy. I like what he does with his teams. He's had really good teams. He had Barca with Messi in his prime. He had Bayern Munich, great Bayern Munich team. He's spent $1 billion with Man City. He's always had the backing. He's always had the top teams. Ferguson, he nearly got sacked when he was at Man United. And he won the FA Cup. They kept him, and look what he done. He's done literally everything.
Dimitri.
Yeah.
Who do you support?
West Ham.
Oh, we've got 2 West Ham supporters.
Yeah. So you didn't expect that answer, did you? No.
What was it? Man United.
No,
Man United.
No.
Well, Arsenal.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean Pep is a bad manager. He's a great manager. He's won everything as well. But I just think Alex Ferguson is better. He stayed at one club a long time. He won everything. He had different players throughout.
Yeah.
And I just think he's proven to do it with not a big squad.
Okay. All right. Laura, I'd love to get your opinion.
I don't know. I just think, oh God, I just think this is a hard question because they're different. They're just, it's a different era, isn't it? I mean, I think Pep has evolved the game and he's very confident with what he's got. And look at the transfer deadline. You didn't see them at all in the last couple of days. He was like, no, I'm happy with what I've got. And they've been winning games. So he's doing something right. And I just think he just brings a different angle to the way they play. And I think Pep's the better manager than Ferguson. Sorry. But I just do. Yeah.
Okay. Barry from Ultimate Sports Network.
It's got to be Ferguson, isn't it? I mean, look at him. Before he came to Man United, he won the European Cup with Aberdeen. Aberdeen. We're not talking like a known club here. We're talking about Aberdeen. I mean, exactly. So he's done it. I'm not saying he's done it on a shoestring, but every club Pep's been to, he's been given money, a lot of money.
That's true.
To do it with, and he's had an established team to do it with as well. If you look at the club that Ferguson took over, he rebuilt the club. He rebuilt it when he took it over. Most of those players didn't play for him after the first year. I think when he took over, he replaced quite a lot of players. But yeah, and he nearly got sacked in his first year, as Dimitri said. But he's rebuilt teams over and over again. If you look at his teams, he kept rebuilding. Pep hasn't really had to do that at the clubs he's been at. He's taken over an established team and added to it. Which some people say Ferguson's a better manager and Pep's a better coach. That's what some people say.
What do you think, Fabrice? What do you think?
Before I talk, I'd love to get Coach Barry's opinion first.
Oh. Here we go, strap in.
What's the question, Fabrice?
Pep or Sir Alex?
Ain't that a no-brainer? Ferguson by a million miles, man.
Pep.
Who?
Ferguson is
the number one.
Okay, cool.
I'm the odd one out.
Pep, it's not even their system. Remember, that system all came from when Johan Cruyff went to Barcelona. And Pep always travels with about 14, 15 coaches, which he uses. But the whole system came from Ajax. It's the Dutch system they play. I don't know, you lot are very young. There was an old Dutch team what Johan Cruyff played for when they played that football. Anyone could get the ball from the back. They were doing that in the 70s, 80s, 70s. So it's an old system what they've just regurgitated and everybody's going mad over it. But it's not even Pep's style. He's just took it over, had great teams, disrespected one of my favourite strikers, Samuel Eto'o, who had to come back and save him at Barcelona when he was going to get sacked. So I don't got Pep. But Ferguson, come on, he was winning the Premiership with kids when he had Scholes, Giggs. He introduced all these 70-year-olds into the Premiership, and they said you can't win the Premiership with kids.
That's true.
His whole thing speaks for himself. He still won the treble, and the thing what no one else has done: FA Cup, Champions League, the league, and then the World Championship. No one's done what he's done. Pep was very disrespectful in the Champions League final when he played Chelsea, and I'm so glad he got his ass whooped when he didn't play a striker. Remember, against Chelsea in the final. So
he always seems to have games that he does that with, though. He done that against Lyon as well the year before.
The Champions League final. League final.
You've got to go with your team that's got you there.
Like Chelsea's not a good side. Chelsea murdered them first half. They were lucky it was only like 1 or 2-0.
Yeah.
It's good, but when you watch European games, he struggles.
He overcomplicates things, yeah. He definitely overcomplicates things. Really overcomplicates things.
When players have the same technical ability as Man City, in the Prem, you can get away with it because he's got top technical class players in the Prem. But when he plays in the European, he gets to the nitty-gritty quarterfinals, semis, Pep starts scratching. Squeaky bum time, as Fergie used to say. Fergie. And he's better.
Do you know what I think? After
better
your
than Klopp.
pitfall there,
Better than Klopp.
and I've changed my mind.
Sabrina,
Yes, coach. I heard you.
he's better than Klopp.
Oh, well, yeah, Fergie,
He's gonna be Klopp. You know,
Of course he is.
Sabrina is gonna be
Of course he's
Klopp
Barry,
in the argument. Watch, I know him.
Of course he is.
Coach
Don't
Mark.
bring Klopp into the argument, Sabrina.
Coach,
Yeah, come on, you're in there. Come on.
Coach Mark. Come on now, give us something.
I prefer Ferguson 100%, purely because the little deals that he does that makes a massive difference. So you see how back to all of like right at the start of this whole show was about letting the kids express themselves. He allowed my United young players to express themselves. He allowed them to make mistakes and try to fix it. With Pep, if you make a mistake, you're going to hear it. So imagine Pep in grassroots, young coach screaming and shouting at kids, telling them, "No, don't do that. You're supposed to be doing that. You're supposed to be like this. You're supposed to be like that." Da, da, da. That can breed anxiety. And with Ferguson, the cool, collective person, and pulls you to the side and find solutions. So in the way he talks to players and the way he behaves and the way he knows everyone's name in the ground, in the training ground, managerial wise, it's just like another one, Mourinho or Pep. Who would you prefer?
I find them to be quite similar. Don't you find those Pep and Mourinho quite similar?
Not really because I'm not talking about. I'm talking about personality. I'm talking about personality wise. Yes, not the way they calculate.
About me.
But it's big. I agree, and the way they calculate is very different. So back to like the Tottenham documentary, when Aurier, he's known for giving away penalties.
Yeah.
He was against the game. It was a Champions League game against Ajax, and he said, "You're going to give away a penny in this game." Not once Aurier gave away any free kick for the whole game. So he mentally got into his head, said that you're going to do this, and he didn't do it. And he played, and he had a wicked game to the point where he even scored, I believe, or something like that. Or he didn't score, but he had a wicked game that game. Yeah. But Pep, he wouldn't come across like that. He would say you have to be in this position, that position, and the reason why this and this and this and this. Instead of just telling him instructions, sometimes try to get into his head. Yeah. Play mind games a bit to test his characters, to allow him to express a different side to himself that he's not really sure of.
Yeah.
That's what Ferguson's good at, and that's what Mourinho's good at.
Yeah. If you read Fergie's book, he's very one-to-one with the
drive by coaching.
He's coaching and meeting players and talking to the family. He makes you feel like he becomes part of your family when you read his book. He's very one-to-one and very likable. I can't say
coaching because I do the same thing with all the age groups that I've coached. And at the end of the season, I see a massive difference to the point where my kids, my underage, can go to new schools and they're feeling confident that I can make new friends straight on the spot. I can answer this question when the teachers are asking questions.
Yeah.
I've now built that bond. I've done the drive-by coaching. I've done the scenarios, solutions, all that stuff. And that's the Fergie way. And then the Pep way is you stand there. And the reason why you need to stand there, this, that, systematic football. But the Fergie way is getting to understand that human before a footballer. That's what I've done on both sides, and I've seen a dramatic result.
Come on, Fabrice. You look like you really want to say something.
Come on,
you know what? I think Barry from the Ultimate Sports Network summed it up for me. There's a manager, and then we talk about a coach. I think with Ferguson, a lot of the players, former players, Ronaldo said, he's like a father figure to me. Ferguson is that type of person. Agreed, 100%. But he's not a coach. Like he had people around him. No, but again, Ferguson's not a coach. He's just a face of the football club. Pep does everything. Again, I know Dimitri said he had Messi in his prime. He had Iniesta.
He's got some of the best coaches around him as well.
No, but you see, Pep improved Messi. Pep improved Iniesta. Pep improved.
What?
by using the Dutch
No,
method.
Go away.
Let me finish.
No, let me hear. Yeah.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
Rubbish.
Oh, man.
So, wait, guys, let me finish.
Is he normal?
Let me finish. Let me finish.
Could I get the breeze three?
So if we're like talking about some of the famous players that have literally played for United when Ferguson was there, we're like talking about Ronaldo in Ronaldo's prime. If he's not in his prime now, that's one thing. And David Beckham. And, you know, if we're kind of talking about even Jap Stam, these players, well, okay, Beckham and Ronaldo, we all know that these guys are superstars. They were stars at United, but like when they left United, they were superstars because you know what? They got coached better. Like they had literally, they like now had coaches that literally improved them. Ferguson did not improve Ronaldo. Ferguson did not improve David Beckham. Those players improved when they left United. Philip Lahm at Bayern Munich, right back.
What am I listening to?
100%. No, listen, you know, again, I'm not taking nothing away from Sir Alex. And again, I'm calling him Sir Alex.
To remember when Ronaldo came to United, he was 17.
Yeah,
then,
he made him there.
No.
Did you see what type of player was really left?
Real Madrid made him.
Nah. That's why they bought him. That's
Why did Real Madrid buy him?
Real Madrid bought him because he was made by United. They would have bought him up. They would have bought a player from Porto, would they? So a young 17-year-old, they would have bought him, would they?
So Bruce, I want to hear what you're going to say. Why you don't think United made him? So when was Ronaldo?
When Ronaldo moved to Real Madrid, because you know he got coached better.
No.
Like the coach. No, it's you know.
What kind of a great?
Listen, you know. Wait, there's actually stories.
Barry,
I do think he's been the better player at Real Madrid, but he was definitely made at the start by United.
Hold it, 1 second. Tabriz, Ronaldo was scoring 40 to 50 goals a season in England in the Premiership. Remember, once he scored 40-odd goals. Yeah. What are you talking about? That was probably one. At
Real Madrid, he was doing that consistently season after season. Because you know what?
You know what this is? You know what this is?
To do it in the Prem. It's difficult.
You're Liverpool, isn't it?
No.
Yeah,
you know, this is nothing to do with it. No, it's not. It's
coming out. That's right, Baz. You know
what? Let's be real, because you know, and again, I've not read Sir Alex Ferguson's book, so I don't know. But there's like stories out there that he would be in his office, like literally talking about his horses and like betting crazy money on his horses, while like I don't know the coach at the time. It was the Portuguese. It's the I can't remember, but like his name. It was him that was training the team.
I'm waving the white flag.
Honestly.
Where's the white flag?
Do you know what, right? Who's right and who's wrong? It's personal opinion, isn't it?
Okay,
I actually do agree with you a little bit there.
Honestly, you know what?
Laura, don't
encourage him, Laura.
Manuel Pellegrini made Ronaldo.
No, okay. You know, I got a question. So,
give it to me. I'm here.
Okay, please. You know, again, you know what? I just want either a yes or no answer. If Raheem Sterling was at United when Ferguson was there, do you think he would be the player that he is now? I just kind of want a yes or a no question.
I think it'd be better.
Answer. Mark, do you think Raheem Sterling would be the player that he is now if Ferguson was manager?
No, because Ferguson played the old school way. Ferguson doesn't play the modern way.
I just want to
know two different times.
No,
yes, it is 2 different times.
It is because football back then was. Now it's more passing and tiki taka and stuff.
You know what I'm saying? Back then it was 4-2 flat.
Physical, technical ability, and it's 2 different times. He's not happy.
You know what?
Yeah,
Pep,
why would you want him though? Why would you want him?
Yeah.
Giggs and Ronaldo. You got Giggs and Ronaldo.
Why Raheem Sterling though?
because you know. Shall I tell you, Raheem? Because when like Pep moved to City, everyone thought that Raheem would be the first player out because like he wasn't like the best at Liverpool.
Yeah, but doesn't he not get on with Pep very well though? They
Very
clash.
well.
Well, I mean, I don't know the ins and outs, but when like Pep got there, Raheem was on fire because again, Pep gets whatever team that he can get and literally gets them to play his way. And
So you think no, then, don't you?
100%. Like, let's be honest, guys. Let's be honest. Yeah, who would you rather play for, Pep or Sir Alex Ferguson? Now,
Ferguson.
Allow me to express myself.
Ferguson.
I'll say Sir Alex. Because one, he will allow me to express myself, and that'll make me a better player because I'm showing my quality more.
The priest don't know what he's talking about.
You know what it is? I want you to stop managing. I actually want you to stop managing. I want you to manage.
He was a manager.
And then do both methods.
Mark, he was a manager to Breeze. He used to manage grassroots, a men's team.
And we actually won stuff as well. Because you know what?
Listen to that.
On the Fergie way. He's in the Pep way or the Fergie way.
I played the Pep way.
You was gonna say Fergie there. Oh.
No, I wasn't. No.
I saw it.
You know what?
Don't you think? I think football has changed though.
Dramatically.
Yeah. So you can't really have this debate fairly because it's changed massively.
Laura. Pep ain't won no Champions League yet, so this argument's null and void, isn't it?
Yes, he has. Yes, he has.
The players and the thing he's got. He can't win Champions League
with Man City.
With City.
Okay. So literally,
he has one, but it's City. Yeah.
No, but again, people are saying
right.
That there's not one
I've got
Man City.
I've got a stat here for you, Coach Barry. I wrote this down somewhere. How many games he won? How many games in the last season do you think he won?
2.
Pep. How many victories?
I'm a Palace fan, and you're talking about Pep.
More overall.
It just says he's won the League Cup and Premier League trophies. Didn't win the Champions League because of Chelsea, but 138 victories from 187.
That's good.
It's a good record.
That is very good. So,
what about Sir Alex statistics, miss?
God knows.
I
didn't have the history books to blow off the dust for that. So.
There is Google.
Listen, you know what? I mean, personally, you know what?
I'm on your side to breathe. Modern football.
Pep's not in that class. It should have been Pep v Klopp. To Breeze, this should have been Pep v Klopp. It would have been more fair.
No, but literally, people like I ever say Ferguson is, is like the face of football. He's like
class though. It's not.
No,
let win the Champions League, then bring back the argument. Win something like that.
No, but he has though. Like Pep's won the Champions League.
Is that when Barca cheated against Chelsea?
Oh,
Hey, now we're talking, Dimitri.
Is that when there should have been about 8 penalties for Chelsea?
Tell him.
All the things then, mister. Come on. I love it. You're on a roll.
That UEFA robbed, teeth in UEFA.
At its finest.
Barry from Ultimate Sports Network.
Tell him about it, Baz.
Oh yeah, okay. Who, and be honest, holds more weight? The name Guardiola or the name Ferguson?
Ferguson.
Oh my gosh.
Ferguson. More weight in England or what, Europe or world or but in
world.
Ferguson.
The world.
Mr. Amateur footballer, are you sure you know your football, mister?
It's Guardiola.
He's not got there yet. He's not got there yet.
I think more now, Pep, because people forget about history. Don't forget that.
Yes.
A lot of people like to forget about previous years. And that's the issue in football.
The reality is he hasn't got there yet, has he, Pep? He hasn't got there yet. I mean, everyone talks about him, don't they? But he's
Yeah,
not.
got
Like, if they knew about Ferguson, they would understand that he's not actually at that level yet.
You got anyone in the world and say Ferguson, that's it, man.
Okay, so because Ferguson was at United for how many years? 20 odd years. Like, okay, like he could have won a couple of championships and like whatnot.
A couple.
On the end, a couple
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Mark. Could you give some cognitive training, please? Cognitive training.
What are you doing tomorrow at 2 p.m.?
No, I mean, on a serious level, 100%. I think anyone, and exactly what Dimitri says. Like, I think, like the purists, the people that know their football, you've got to put Sir Alex in that argument, 100%. And I'm not. Yes, 100%. However, he wasn't a coach. Coach Barry and Coach Mark, you have to agree with me on at least with that statement. He wasn't a coach. He wasn't a coach. So, okay, I would say he was probably the best delegator of a football team, 100%. Okay, cool.
Delegator.
100%. Because again, he wasn't on the training pitch. He again, even Cristiano Ronaldo said he was a father figure. He said nothing about the coaching like the best coach or nothing. He just said he's like a father figure to me. Yes, he was. But again, if we're talking about playing styles, and if we're talking about legacy, if we're kind of literally talking about the players that a certain manager has managed, these top end players, it's got to be Guardiola. It has to be Guardiola. There's no comparison.
So you're telling me, so for example, what if Ferguson went to Barcelona and he had that same squad that Pep did?
We don't know.
But didn't you see a style of play from Ferguson?
What style of play was that?
Oh
what,
my
4-4-2?
Oh my God.
What?
Can we change the subject?
No, Coach Barry. I want you to just explain the rest of Ferguson gameplay, because how many times he had Rooney in the middle, then Ronaldo out wide, or sometimes Rooney would be out wide and Van Nistelrooy in the middle, and then you have Jason Parker, then Paul Scholes, and then you have Vidic. Oh, I can go all day long, sir, because I do my research and I study 25 days of the year. I'm telling you.
Oh, boy.
I don't. He has a gameplay. I promise you. Counter-attack football. He's so dangerous. But
Mark, stop. Look at the breeze. I don't know where it's getting. I don't know.
You know what I want to do? Your men's team has to play the Pep way. My men's team has to play the Ferguson way.
Ooh.
I want to see who will win.
Yeah, but I'm a manager no more, because so that's not going to happen. But I can guarantee, in my team's prime, I would wash your team 100%.
Whoa!
Honestly,
remember, you said the words managing, so you're past stuff. I'm just present, so it's okay. so right now you're doing the Ferguson, and I'm present. You're in the past.
Listen, you know what? Hey, again, there's no right or wrong.
I know.
Kind of decisions.
So who do you think then, when Pep finally finishes, who would have, out of the two, who's going to leave the best legacy?
Ferguson will always leave the best legacy. If Pep
but Guardiola's not finished yet, so we don't know, do we?
Now Pep's going to go into international football after his Man City contract finish. He's got
he'll manage Spain.
Yeah, so I mean,
Spain, that's just a cheat code. He's just cheating now.
No, but what's cheat code? Like
Spain
team are not the best team right now. Like,
he's not Spanish. Spain.
But like, you were like, this is going on as if,
To Breeze, is he better than Klopp? Is Pep better than Klopp?
Why are you thinking? Why are you thinking? Why are you thinking so hard, Mister?
Look.
At this present, yeah, he is.
No.
He is.
That's it at this present.
Yeah. Again, how I see it is, Ferguson being at a club for 20 odd years, we all have to applaud that. Just because you move from club to club, that doesn't make you a less of a manager or player, however it is. And again, sometimes
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Valak shows that he kind of wants a challenge. He could have easily stayed at Barcelona and like literally got that job for life if he really, really wanted to. He, you know what I'm saying? So literally for him to be moving on and to also further his education in different leagues. We're talking different leagues now.
Different leagues, different countries, different cultures.
That's what I'm saying. So again, Ferguson did an outstanding job, but hey, like at the time, it was only Arsenal.
He didn't push himself though. He stayed in his comfort zone.
100%.
Like Arsene Wenger, no? He stayed in his comfort zone.
Yeah.
But don't you think if Alex Ferguson went to Bayern Munich the same time as Pep did, he would have won 6-7 titles in a row as well in that league?
Yeah.
So would you, Dimitri?
I know. In that league, it's not difficult.
You guys, God.
Winning the league by 20 points. Come on.
After 25 games.
It's because you're a Liverpool fan, isn't it? So it's kind of hard to talk to Liverpool fans. It's kind of hard.
Okay, it makes sense.
Hey,
Mr. Brian from Football Networks, please take the floor because.
No, I was just going to say, Ferguson rebuilt the team, didn't he? Over time again. It wasn't just like
so many times.
Pep was going to one club that had already been built. He's had a few things to it. That wasn't difficult. It wasn't hard.
God bless you.
What Ferguson done was rebuild again and again. That's difficult. Try doing that. You got to reinvent yourself all the time, haven't you? You got to reinvent teams all the time. You experience
that our grassroots level, no? Players come and go.
Yes, exactly.
New ones come. They're a bit lower than the standard that you're currently dealing with, but you still have to make them better to be on the same level, if not better.
The other thing is as well, how many times do managers get sacked in this world? He stayed the course of 20 years. How many have done that?
Yeah.
How many have done that? Come on.
Yeah, but like,
Paul never sacked him like the other managers. They got sacked.
Yeah, but like Pep leave on his own accord. Like Pep hasn't been
all of it, every club.
Yes,
every club.
Contracts are contracts, so you have to do the contract.
For me, there's like no comparison. There's literally no debate. Pep is the for me like the most influential player manager or person in football. 100%. Bigger than Ronaldo, bigger than Messi. 100%.
Fair enough. I totally agree. But where did Pep learn all his methods from? Was it from a Spanish method or was it from a Dutch method?
Exactly what Coach Barry said. Like Johan Cruyff.
So who really changed the face of football?
I remember he took over the team. When it right card, he took the team over from at Barca. Look at the players that had at Barca. He took over the team.
The team took over, man. Come on.
Look at the team he had at Barca. What he took over. Any one of us could manage that team, and they would beat anyone.
You know what Pep said? Pep said. I remember in the interview. He said that I'm going to teach you how to get to the final third, and you guys do the rest. He does that. When Ferguson the whole way through.
I don't think it's a fair argument. Should have been
Barcelona. He said himself, "I'm going to teach you how to get to the final third, and you guys do the rest."
This should have been. To Breeze's
I'm actually reading my Bible right now because literally I want to swear on camera.
It should have been.
I do like your jumper though. Your jumper is wicked.
this argument should have been Pep versus Klopp, and he didn't
Klopp,
want.
yeah, you're right, Bazza. Yeah,
He didn't want it. He didn't want it.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you for all watching the show. I can't believe it's like 10 to 10 already. Like time has flown by, honestly. Again, thank you. Thank you to Coach Mark, Laura, Coach Barry, Dimitri, and Barry from the Ultimate Football Network. Thank you guys for watching. I've really enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it as well.
It's always fun.
So did we get an art? Is there an answer? Dare I ask?
Yeah, Ferguson.
I think
Yeah,
we're
Ferguson.
outnumbered to bring
Without Ferguson.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Barry, both Barrys, I need to network with you. So please, I need to get your details.
Oh yes,
to Breeze to give you my.
Yes, actually, before we kind of log off, and again, this is I'd say this is like a hub for people to swap details, because again, this is literally about passing information and sharing knowledge. So again, thank you to the panelists. Thank you to everyone that's been watching. We'll be back next week Sunday, and hopefully
what's the topic next week? Oh my god.
I mean, I'm not trying to make it as controversial as possible.
Oh
because,
god.
I like challenging people.
Messi or Ronaldo.
Coach Barry does not look happy.
Yeah, I know.
Perhaps we better let him choose a subject next week.
That's brilliant.
He's let me down tonight. That's why, Lord.
And he let you down yesterday as well, didn't he? He let you down yesterday as well. I mean, come on. Oh,
Thank you guys for watching, guys. We'll be back next week Sunday.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful week.
All right, take care, everyone.
bye.
Take care. See ya.